Welcome, Saints Nation. We are here on the casting desk today to bring to you the bigger cup. We've got a lot of stakes on line and a lot of teams to cover, a lot of players to look at, gentlemen. But before that, let's introduce ourselves. I am your host with the most for today, Wyatt. Joined with me on the desk to my right is the handsome, devilish Matthias. And over there, still devilish, still very handsome, Zach. How are we feeling today, gentlemen?
Well, I am feeling absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to see this match for the bigger cup. A lot of stakes on the line, perhaps even literal stakes as we get further into the introduction. But I'm curious how you're feeling.
You know what? I'm feeling really good. I'm not gonna say the word because I've been told never to say it again. But maybe I'm feeling a little Zactastic. Who knows? Today's been pretty good. I'm really excited to watch some of these steaks get cooked. Excited to watch some of these players get cooked alive because it's gonna be a very interesting game with Noxus and Demacia.
It is, and to cover that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring you to the bracket now. Let's see who we have facing off in the grand finals today for the bigger cup. My apologies. Let's look at our bracket. It looks like we had Noxus and Piltover facing off yesterday, as well as Demacia and Zon. And then our grand finals for today is Noxus for Demacia. Gentlemen, what can you bring from this bracket?
Honestly, this bracket is quite interesting. It tells a very different tale on both sides. Of course, Noxus going up against Piltover, that was a very difficult fight. Meanwhile, Demacia had the easier fight against Zon, and now they're facing off, proving who is truly the best. But Zach, how are you seeing this? I know you're a little bit more partial to one team over the other.
I don't know what you're talking about. Noxus is obviously the superior team just by pure stats, but Zon wasn't too much of an opponent, so Demacia had a really much of a freebie to the finals. So a lot of people are favoring them looking into this, but I think it's not really fair to favor them when they're basically fighting wet water, right? Like,
I guess so, but nevertheless, no matter the opponent, Demacia has reigned supreme in the past, and they're looking to reign supreme once again.
I mean, yeah, you said it. They're last year's champions from the Big Cup, looking to take home the bigger cup today with that $5,000 prize pool on the line. $5,000 in Prime A Wagyu steaks from our sponsors over with the government of Japan and Kobe beef. I mean, we've got a lot on the line for these players. But now let's take a look at the lineup. Let's see who exactly are going to be playing on both of these teams. First up, we've got
Ooh.
Press, we've got Wonderful, we've got Ooft, we've got Pookie Bear, and we've got Mr. Audie on the team of Noxus. Gentlemen, what do you think?
I mean, my thoughts instantly go to boy band, but past that, it is skill. I mean, they are on the rise. They play risky. They play for all the money. But I'm sure you have even more to say, Zach.
no, I think you're right on the money for that one. Like, they're a very aggressive team. Like, just look at this photo lineup. Don't they look spooky and sketchy, right? Like, they look like they're going to beat you up on the side street, and that's what they're going to do in the game.
They look definitely ready for this. But now we've looked at one, we can't overlook the other.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Demacia, who is here from
Ooh.
last year's reigning champions. We've got Phaser, we've got Barist, we've got Carlixto, and we've got Sky Wizard and Evan. Definitely a team to remember.
A team to remember for sure. The reigning champs, they found success every single time. I mean, look how locked in they are. They love this game. They're here for the fun of it. And of course, we have Evan cooking up something special. I know he ran into some issues earlier today, so there's been some accusations of cheating as well. But
No, you
I
don't
think
get
that
banned for
just
nothing.
goes to show how skillful Demacia is.
No, they definitely look skillful. Mid laner especially, they look so excited to be here. Maybe a little bit too cuddly and too. They'll just be a bit of a pushover, but we'll see. We'll see.
I think it's a sheep in wolf's wait, a wolf in sheep's clothing is the saying.
Yeah.
It
Close,
is,
close.
and now to talk a little bit more about that, let's head to a head-to-head. Let's
Let's see it.
see who are we going to talk about here. It looks like we're going to Press and Phaser. If I'm not mistaken, our two top laners here.
Our two top laners looking absolutely devastating here. The bruisers, and you got to look at that KP kill participation Press. Just going all in and getting the payoff if you look at the win rate as well. Phaser playing a little bit more safer and not getting the same amount of consistency. But I don't know
No,
what you think of that.
you're 100% right. Like, it's very weird looking at these stats for top laners. Typically, you won't see this kill participation, but it really goes to show how much these teams are actually playing together. 67% in the top lane, 72% in the top lane. These are wild numbers. They're basically playing on TPs and playing the roam to every single objective, which is not really heard of in top lanes, but maybe that's why they're in the finals.
And especially when you get to this high of a level, usually it's the mid laner being the leader for most of these games. When you get to the pinnacle peak level, it's often that top laner that is the winner or loser for the entire game.
I mean, yeah, he's a pinnacle role in the entire team layout. Like, definitely has to be there in their top lane to dominate and show that aggressive nature so that the rest of the team can work their magic. But we've talked about the bracket, we've talked about the teams, we've looked at our head to head. I have to ask you, gentlemen, now, and I think I'm going to start over with you, Zach. What is your prediction for
I
today?
mean, I might have spoiled it a couple times already, but we're definitely Team Noxus. You know, they have a full like feats named after them in the game now, right? So if they can't win with something named after them in the game, then I think we have a problem.
Well, if you're gonna hand it over to me, I will have to say I'm going all in on Demacia. They won last time. They're going to win it again. And I want to see them just keep up the roll. I mean, how many more times in a row can you win? You always love to see it.
I'm going to have to talk with production in the back because I need you to come over here so I can be on that side with Zach because I am going Team
Ooh.
Noxus all the way. I think you are completely delusional there, Matthias.
That's
Definitely
crazy.
notable to mention because they are last year's champs, but Noxus have just been on their game. They are in their prime right now to take those prime stakes, and I think they are going to take the game an entire sweep their way.
I mean, there's $1,000 stakes on the line here, literal stakes on the line. I think these players are very hungry to dig in to those stakes.
Super hungry. You know, who doesn't like steak unless I guess you're like a vegetarian? But I don't think any of these players are vegetarians.
No, those look like some big old meat eaters there on the stage.
Yeah, indeed. It's not just the stakes that they're hungry for, it's the title, it's the
That's true.
championship. It's Noxus getting knocked out last tournament by Demacia, looking to take their title back, looking to come back from the lower bracket. And we saw that also a little bit in the bracket, how they had a tough fight over against Piltover. They happily won it, but
They did lose one game.
they did lose one game.
One
They did
game's
lose
nothing,
one game,
guys.
which I do hold against them, but I think it was just the harder matchup. I think
It was.
Demacia had an easier matchup up against Zon. Nothing against Zon. I mean, they definitely had some great players. We won't talk too much about them, but I think it was definitely a little bit of an easier run for Demacia. I don't want to influence your pick there to say like you're picking like the easier ones here, but I
You can tell them
personally
in wrong.
think
It's fine.
I
That's
personally
okay.
think that Noxus had the harder run and are going to take it.
I mean, I disagree. I disagree. I think you're right. They had the harder run up to this point, but it might just come down to skill at that point. I mean, Piltover and Zon, they're really not that far apart. I mean, Zon, they play a little bit more off meta. They play for the little bit of the craftier team comps. It didn't pay off this time, but it could have paid off dividends if it just went a little bit different, if it was not up against Demacia. I mean, we're talking about pressure here. Sure, Noxus has that pressure to beat Demacia once again, but Demacia has even more pressure to keep up proving that they are the absolute best team.
No, I think you're right. Like, there's a lot of good facts being stated, but you know what? Noxus is one of the most aggressive teams. The new patch, new season plays for more aggressive teams. Noxus is showing that their playstyle is definitely something that's worth fighting for. But at the end of the day, like, is it going to be enough to beat Demacia? I think so, but I can see why you think not.
I can see why you think not as well, and I think you mentioned a little bit about how that aggressive style plays to Noxus, kind of kicking yourself in the leg there, picking Demacia. I mean, as you said, they have an aggressive play style, and they also like to play a little bit together as a team, which is something that I may not be the biggest League fan on this desk today, but I know in any aspect of life, it is about that teamwork that matters. Sure, you can be the faker of the lobby, you can be getting as many kills as you want and showing how and why you are the best of the best. But if the rest of your team is suffering, like you are only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, and that's why I picked Demacia. They've proven time and time again that their bonds are unbreakable. I mean, just looking at the player graphics, you could feel the aura of happiness that exudes from them. Noxus, they're going all in on that aggression, but with that aggression comes some hatred, some negativity that I think could maybe overwhelm them in the game.
I mean, kicking your teammates every now and then isn't that bad, right? Like, you suck, let's get on. But I think
That's
that's
true,
what
that's
Noxus
true.
really proves. Like, they'll kick each other, but they get better every single time.
That's true.
And yeah, we're just waiting to get into the lobby, ladies and gentlemen. But kind of another question that I wanted to throw up against you guys. Looking at the teams, how we know them, how we know they like to play, what kind of picks are you expecting? What would you like to see out of each of the teams, if we can touch on that just a small bit?
You know, i it's going to be very tough. I think I want to see Demacia play a little bit more reserved, play safe in the early game, just focus on the CS, and then scale for the late game and really come into fruition at that point.
No, I think that's a really valid point and kind of the exact counter to what Noxus wants to do. Noxus has shown throughout the tournament that they want to play very aggressive. They want to play for early objectives and take early fights to claim all those feats. But if they're not able to do that because Demacia is just playing super safe, it will just fizzle out, right? And then Demacia is able to win out in the end.
I will agree. It's kind of like a yin and yang. You have one side that likes to play very aggressively, likes to play in your face and take space, but then you have the other side which like to play a little more reserved, like to play around the entire map, and like to play a little more together as a team. But then I think it's going to be very, very exciting to see. I'm going to push you guys a little further to see what kind of champions specifically you want to see. Matthias, give me a name.
Honestly, I think we got to talk about the most iconic pick, and it's not on my team. It's on Team Noxus. It's the Amumu. The Amumu, near and dear to many people's hearts, an absolute workhorse of a jungler. I think, sure, the game plan is simple, but its simplicity is what makes it work.
Yeah, you think they're going to pick a Mumu today?
I
All
think
the
so.
champions, very Noxus
think
coded,
so.
right?
It is.
I don't
it
know.
is.
On the opposite side, I think Demacia is definitely going to pick some kind of late game scaling ADC. So you might see Sivir, you might see Phelios, maybe you'll see a Jinx come out. Like all these champions that want to play through lane, survive, and then make it through like the later game and win the team fights.
Exactly.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done talking here. Actually, I am done talking here for the time. I'm going to hand it off to these two lovely casters to talk through our draft. Gentlemen, have some fun. And ladies and gentlemen, at home, get ready for the bigger cup to come underway.
Okay,
And
we
here
are
we
already
are.
in draft.
Yeah,
Some bans
we're
are going out. We're seeing Zeru, we're seeing Corki, we're seeing Braum. Big Daddy Braum not allowed to be played today.
Not allowed, and no Corky, and no Echo as well. I mean,
Okay.
they're just burning through this draft
Yeah.
as fast as possible. That's something I love about these teams. They come in with a plan. They know what they're
Yeah.
doing before the game even begins. They always have those backup picks in
Yeah.
case their champ gets burned out.
They know what they want to do. You know, Echo is a pretty aggressive jungler / mid. You can also play him top if you wanted to. Noxus did see it played a couple times throughout their playoff series, so it does make sense that they banned it out. Evelyn, though, that is a weird pick for Demacia to get banned out. You know, that's haven't seen them play it yet, but maybe it's something that's been leaked through scrims.
I think it's just some trauma there. You know, I saw a couple VODs a few months ago. They just got absolutely annihilated by an Evelyn in one of their scrims, but nevertheless, I think that's just a comfort ban. And now the Fizz ban, they're really banning from mid lane here on
Yeah.
the side of Demacia.
You know, mid lane can be very aggressive. Noxus mid lane has shown time and time again that it's one of the most aggressive mid laners in the league. So getting rid of the Fizz, getting rid of the Echo champions that really want to assassinate the ADC, especially if Demacia is looking to play something a little bit safer in the bot lane, does make sense. But what is going to be the first pick? What is going to be blindable here?
Yeah, what do you pick? And it's also important which role you pick for as well. Do you pick something that's a little bit more flexible, or do you just put it all out on the table and pick your top laner first, the Cho'Gath? Big, heavy, hungry for those wins and hungry for those stakes.
That is exactly why they picked it. They want Cho'Gath to feed off those stakes, you
Ooh.
know, and picking Azir instantly. You know, Azir actually can be a counter pick technically to Cho'Gath if you really wanted to. He does have the range, but they're switching it up and picking Malphite in the end. If this is just both top laners, it's probably going to be a little bit of a wet noodle fight, but that's
Yeah.
never bad.
Just crashing against each
Yeah,
other
just
over and over,
constant.
seeing who will whittle down last. And speaking of whittling down, it's going to be Akshan. They whittled down the options they had for mid laners, so not much to counter it, but an Azir might be the counter on the side of Noxus.
You know what? That's actually pretty interesting. They're both Shurima champions. They both kind of have similar-ish playstyles, but not really. Like, Akshan's going to want to roam out, but Azir does not want to. He wants to scale out, but they play against each other pretty well.
And then we have the Mordekaiser pick as well on Noxus. I'm going to guess that is jungle. They don't have a pick anywhere else for that. And speaking of jungle, we have Amumu selected on the side of Demacia.
Yeah, it's very interesting jungle matchup, right? Like, Amumu wants to play for the team. He really wants to set up giant team fights. Mordekaiser, complete opposite, right? He just wants to play for himself. He wants to fight 1v1s. He wants to takes you into his little special realm, give you some unfortunate bad touches, but you know, we'll see how it plays out. The last couple bans are coming through. We see Garen and Draven, Elise, you know, banning out some support picks, I guess, with Elise now that she's a support pick as opposed to jungle.
Banning out the Garen ADC is a bold choice as well,
You know,
I have to say. I mean,
Noxus
maybe they
did
know
pull it
something I
out.
don't.
They pulled it out with the Yumi in the playoffs, so you never know.
Exactly. And I gotta say, just to reiterate that jungle matchup here, I think Mord beats out the 1v1, but
100%.
Amumu, going to have so much more value in the team fights.
100%. It's, again, showing their different play styles. And we are getting the ADCs picked out. So we're getting Misfortune a little bit more aggressive. We do have that special Wombo combo, especially with a Mumu and Malphite. So I think there's a lot of good weight with that. And we do see a Jinx and Morgana. So it's not too bad. It's a pretty safe lane. Can't really do too much in the lane against a Yuumi especially, but Yuumi.
Yeah, this is an interesting team comp on both sides. Of course, Demacia playing for that mid game, I would say.
Yeah.
Just waiting to scale up, jump in, lock them down, win those first couple team fights. But if they don't win in that mid game, Noxus, they have the early game advantage with the Mord and the Cho'Gath. But they also have that late game carry in the Jinx.
Yeah.
And of course, Morgana, just a consistent support, able to apply that spell shield. But actually, that spell shield could do a lot of
It
work.
can do a lot here, especially into a team that just wants to fight on top of Jinx, on top of the Azir. That one spell shield can protect them from a Mumu, can protect them from the Malphite R, and after those 2 engages are gone, what can they really do, right?
Yeah, so with our final comp done, I'm curious, which side do you think has a better game plan?
You know what? Noxus is playing to the strengths. They're playing aggressive. They're trying to win the team fights, and Demacia is doing the exact same, right? They're trying to play for their strengths. They're late game team fighting. They're trying to apply actual consistent team fights.
And while I am on Team Demacia here, I will say I think the individual laning strength, I'd have to give over to Noxus. They're going for that early and late game. They have a good mix of
Yep.
both, and I think that they'll just do a little bit better if they play their champs right,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day, you can have the perfect draft, but it comes down to skill and how you execute it.
Yeah, champion mastery is definitely on the side of Noxus. Like, they have to with the champions. If not, it's going to look like they have no hands. That is never something you want to see in the finals, right?
Yeah, the execution on Demacia is looking to be a little bit easier, simple, clear game plan.
Click R.
But it takes a little bit more teamwork to execute as well, so you're going to have to rely on those bonds they have from winning so many of those past events.
Yes, they do. They
Lot
want
to prove
They want
here.
enough, but you know, at the end of the day, I think there's some tech issues. I think they're having issues with their mics, so who knows if they're actually going to be able to communicate properly.
Who knows? Yeah, let's talk about those tech issues just a little bit. I know there's been some accusations of cheating on the side of Evan, who's on
Yes.
Demacia. I mean, IP banned. We don't really know why. That's been shrouded in mystery. Some people are saying it's cheating. Some people are saying it's just the practice tools he's been using to really dig in deep to the code of the
I've
game.
also heard that he's apparently a booster and he's been boosting St. Clair students, but
Wow.
who knows?
Wow,
Who
that
knows?
is a deep accusation indeed. I think that's against TOS.
I'll give you the hot tea every time.
Hot tea every single time, freshly brewed. I mean, what type of tea is it? Herbal, black?
I'm
What are we
thinking
feeling
like some
today?
peppermint, a little festive, you know,
Something
a
to
little
soothe
wintry.
the throat, you know?
Is that what tea does?
I think so. Yeah, you
Oh,
add a
that's the
little honey in
Yeah.
there.
Gotta melt the honey up.
I mean,
first.
it's cold. The air is dry, and you know, we casters always gotta stay on top of that.
Yes.
And speaking of staying on top, we have top graded Wagyu steaks on the line. Let's talk
We do.
a little bit about the prizing. It's the big cup. It's overflowing with these steaks. We have it out there on the stage. I'm sure you'll see it soon enough. Maybe it's a
Can
little bit
smell it.
out of shot. Yeah, you can smell it. They're so fresh,
Mhm.
straight from Japan, shipped across the ocean, but they keep them so nice and cold. You wouldn't even know.
No. How do you like to eat your steak?
You with these, you have to go medium. I think
Medium?
medium rare,
Medium
a little
rare?
bit too much, but medium is the perfect middle point.
I think I agree. Like a lot of my friends back home, they'll eat it blue, which is freaking disgusting.
wow.
It looks raw as, it just looks a little raw, but I think medium's pretty good. Pretty good.
It's pretty good. And speaking of blue, speaking of light and dark, let's talk about this matchup once again. Noxus and Demacia. So much history here. I mean, I'm just thinking back to last year when Demacia was leading the charge once again. The first time they won
Yeah.
was against Noxus. Noxus not looking to be the favorite that time. It was looking
No.
to be the dark horse. But still, everyone thought they had a chance, and Demacia just completely
They
annihilated them.
stomped. They did stomp. You know, every now and then Noxus has to get kicked down. Their ego has to be bruised a little bit, so they come back stronger. And I think that's why Noxus is coming back with like they're really fighting for this. They have a taste of the victory. They
Mhm.
want to get the entire thing, but
And the roster changes as
Yeah.
well were just absolutely immaculate. I mean, the last player that kicked off the team on side of Noxus, he was so difficult to work with. He's a very creative personality. I think he's much better fit on the
they
other
took
side.
the Noxus mentality. You know, be aggressive, a little too strong. And at the end of the day, they weren't good enough for Noxus. But Demacia did keep their entire lineup, which is pretty good for them. Like, not very often do you see an entire lineup stay from tournament to tournament. But it shows that they have a lot of faith in their players.
Yeah, and the one they swapped out, of course, it was It was Moth Eyes. He was a
Yeah.
very terrible player on that team, and now he's been swapped out for Sky Wizard. And Sky Wizard is just looking to be that consistent bot laner they need.
Just look at him. He's so happy to be there.
He's happy, he's jovial, and that's what the team needed, you know. Noxus, sure, they're very nose to the grindstone, very determined, very militaristically
Yeah.
minded, some would say. But Demacia, they embrace that kindness, that goodness.
Yeah.
And while
Unless
there
you're
may
a
be some
mage.
darkness underneath, if you really look into the teams, at the end of the day, they're just here to have fun.
Yeah. And we're back to the boy band team. You know, they're really living it up. Like, if this was my boy band, I'm definitely gonna be Team Oof. Just look at that facial expression.
I mean, he's so relaxed, he's so locked in, he doesn't even have to open his eyes.
I don't even think he's locked in. I think he's just like, you can see the tattoo on his arm. Like, he's freshly tatted up.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he's out of it.
He told me about that tattoo the other day, actually. It's a
Yeah.
rose and a crown. So he's looking to
Oh.
come for that crown. He's already got it written in ink upon his body. So now, if he doesn't win this time, that's not going to be a good look.
Yeah, and he's freshly off Arcane with the Rose. You know, he's definitely Team Rose Society or whatever you want to call him. Oh, I don't even know. I don't watch
Yeah.
the lore enough. My bad, guys.
The withered rose.
Is that what it is?
Wait, no, that's a skin
No,
line.
that's
a
something
skin
else.
line.
Where's our lore fact check production?
That's true. That's true. That's something we need to get here on the production. A lore master to
We
call
need a lore
in,
master.
in a
Where's
robe
Lex
and
when
a
you need
book.
her? No.
But honestly, what more is there to say? This is the matchup for the ages. And just what advice would you give to the teams if you had to? Just
Yeah.
general advice.
Stop getting IP banned. I don't know what to tell
That's
you.
true.
Like, that would solve so many issues. But realistically, I think play to the strength that your team's playing for. Noxus play aggressive. Demacia try to play passive. If you can do that, I think you'll come away. It's really a battle of the playstyles, right?
It is. It is. I think it's also a battle of philosophy. You know,
Yeah.
Noxus is all about aggression, just learning to be consistent. It's not even about determination or discipline. It's about discipline, not determination. You can have determination, but without the Noxian discipline, you're not going to get anywhere. They self-discipline, discipline from the coach. They are just locked in all the way. As for Demacia, there's a much more community-built aspect to it. You know,
100%.
you can definitely see in the live streams that these players do in their training sessions. They're in there with the community. They take community suggestions. They take suggestions from their Discord. I mean, there's so many pictures of them out with the fans. You know,
Soup kitchens last week. I'm pretty
soup
sure.
kitchens as well. They do charity work. I mean, they're perfect.
They
They're perfect.
are like, if you're thinking of perfect league players, they're the epitome of it. But you know, Noxus is trying to change that.
And yeah, they are. They are. They're in it for themselves. They're self-determined. I mean, you can't even blame them at that point. They deserve it. They put in the hard work, and they get to see it pay off.
Yeah.
But speaking of charity work, I hear that Demacia, if they win this, they're taking all these steaks and they're donating it to the local soup kitchen to make
Oh.
Wagyu soup, which is
Wagyu
something I
soup?
didn't even know existed.
Me neither. Like, why?
The fat just boils right off.
Yeah, it does. But like, what kind of broth are you putting in there?
I have no idea.
kind of-
Maybe it's
like,
some
what's
sort
your
of
noodles?
ramen,
Like-
some Japanese soup, but I kind of want to see them win so I can see what that soup looks
I just
like.
want to try it.
I just
Do you
wanna
think we can
try
go
it too.
after?
I mean, I hope that we can if they win. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'll switch over to
We'll
Team
skedaddle,
Demacia
yeah.
so we can get that soup in here.
I do want some soup. Soup would be pretty good. It is pretty cold out.
But speaking of soup, I think we're starting to reach our boiling point here,
Yeah.
folks. Things are looking very spicy. It's getting real steamy here in the
Super
back
steamy.
row. I know steam is coming off of my head at this point.
Man's
But-
excited.
I mean, what do you have to say?
Look, what else is there to say at this point? Like, we have a battle of the boy band. We have battle of like super angelic people.
The
like,
Saints.
They're saints.
They're not.
quite
They're
literal
not
saints.
the Saints, but they are
No.
saintly.
It's copyrighted, guys. Copyrighted.
Copyright. Different team, different time. And let's just talk about some of the past times as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think the time against Zon, that was a roll, but it shouldn't have been. I mean, Demacia, I think, should have had a little bit more trouble against him. Maybe it was an off day
Yeah.
for Zon.
I mean, I know you mentioned Demacia likes to talk in their Discord, ask their fans what kind of picks they like to pick. So sometimes they pick out a couple wild champions, but Zon kind of goes the exact opposite way, right? Like, they pick a lot of random champions. They pick new strategies that they think are going to work out, but at the end of the day, it doesn't always pay off. And I think in their matchup against Demacia, they tried to cook a little too hard.
I'd have to agree with you right then and there. And now let's talk about Noxus, the
Demoxys?
other side
Hmm.
of the
What is
coin.
this lore change that you're talking about?
Oh, we're here in game. We
We're
can
saved.
stop stalling. Let's get right into the swing of things. I know I was at the end of my rope, but now we're getting to the start of another
Yes.
rope here. And this is it. Look at those beautiful skins and games. Of course, we have Demacia
And we get this
leading the charge.
beautiful map too, right? We get a nice over. Oh, and it's gone. Not allowed to watch
Gone
it.
with the wind.
Now, do you think that Noxus is going to pull off one of their early invades that they've done throughout the tournament?
Yeah. I mean, they're aggressive, but they might be feeling a little bit wary. Because if they do give that early lead advantage over to Demacia, their entire game plan goes out the window. So I think they might play a little bit more reserved, stay focused, and
Okay,
looking
it looks
at
like
these.
Morgana's just chilling in base.
Yeah, I'm
Taking
looking
the
at.
support role a little too seriously.
Speaking of support role, they're not buying the support item. They bought the book off rip.
You know what?
AP.
It is Noxus. They do like to play aggressive, so maybe they're trying to get some early damage, early kills.
That could definitely
Maybe?
be a factor here.
Okay, they are pulling off one of their invades, but will it pay off? It does look like Red Side is playing very safe, just hiding underneath their turrets, but they can get some wards in.
They get the wards in, and I think they're going to be able to get that buff as well. It's all up to Amumu here to start red and move into the enemy jungle after
The
that.
more interesting thing here is we're seeing Misfortune topside, so that is not a top lane champion.
You are absolutely correct. I mean, I think we might be seeing a new meta shift at this point. You play the range advantage, and
Not only
what
that,
can they do?
she has the jungle item.
Wow, you're absolutely
So-
correct.
What is happening, guys?
It is MF jungle,
MF jungle playing in the top side though,
and Amumu going to be their bot laner, I suppose, or
but Amumu's mid. So you know what? Demacia is taking their Discord feedback a little too seriously in this game. They're really just playing whatever the frick they want and saying we will win anyways. That is their ego for you.
go indeed. I mean, they are just looking to be meta definers here. They're trying something no one's ever seen before, and I'm here for it. I'm excited to see how this will
100%.
pan out.
Oh, and look, we're seeing some. Okay, here's the issue, guys.
Solo Yumi.
Solo Yumi though. Yumi doesn't have a partner in this lane. What is Yumi gonna do?
Oh, there we go. You know, you
Got an
take a few
Akshan.
bullets, you burn some mana.
Yup.
Absolutely amazing shot. You take out the
Ooh.
Akshan right away. First blood already taken out. We have Schwam on the chase of not really Evan. Where is he going to run? The flash, the Q. One more shot will do it. You
Ooh.
feed your jungler. Gets the pull. Schwam has slain not really Evan. Good, now you got to run. That jungler
Run.
is looking to be a big old bruiser here. One more Q. This Yumi is going all out on the attack, and it's a masterful play as it's bait for the Akshan. But he gets no payoff in the end.
Yeah, you know what? Yumi kind of trolled there. If she would have sat on Oxon, they would have easily taken the triple kill. But you know, sometimes you got to give it a little bit back. And we did see Misfortune die topside.
That is a very big bonus indeed. And speaking of topside, Cho'Gath struggling, and somehow the not meta pick on the side of Demacia is just paying off.
And Oxon dying in base. Okay.
Wow.
Just
Just mid bush, going for the all-out recall, not even going to turret. That's the let's see this.
okay. So you know what? Did you see Yumi jump in for the first little bit? So she does get the heal off onto Akshan, helps keep him alive, and then Akshan uses his passive just to run the rest of the team down. So pretty easy replay, pretty easy start to the game, and we did see the first feet go over to blue side.
I believe so. They got the first blood, but now it's 3-3. It's all equal on the board now. It's all up to this Akshan in the bot lane.
Yeah.
To hold it down, and this Yumi playing very interestingly, not being attached the whole time, really trying to use Yumi's lack of mobility to their advantage as bait for the enemy team. Get a nice root there, a few couple taps here and there. Can you take down this Jinx? It's looking like it. The passive procs.
Oh, no.
One more kill, you get the hook, and another double kill goes over to Schwam.
Misfortune just kind of decided, you know what? I'm gonna let you play this out, Jinx. You can 1v2, and then decided to go in at the very end just to die with her. True teamwork there. True teamwork.
Team that plays together dies together. That's what I always say. Now, big hook, big Q.
You got this.
And Carlito gets the final laugh there, final kill.
Good gank from the Mordekaiser, actually. A nice change compared to
This is looking like an absolute wash
Yeah.
on the side of the Demacia there.
It is. I might have to regret my words later. You know what? This team fight just shows Noxus is not playing on the same page. Misfortune, Morgana's trying to back out. You see Jinx trying to fight. Jinx isn't getting the spell shield from Morgana, so she's just left out to dry. So,
And I gotta say, I love the fact that they're just going with no jungler here.
Yeah.
They have a jungle item, sure. We have MF with the smite, but they're just ignoring the camps. They're going full on double support.
totally ignoring it. You know, it's a wild, interesting strategy. Can't say I've seen it before, but what we can see is the first dragon spawn, and it does seem Mountain Drake. So
That's even better when you have a Mord on your team. More armor, more damage resistance.
Yeah, I mean,
walking
Mordekaiser's
tank.
technically the only jungler right now too, right? So should be a pretty free objective. And
Speaking of free, that was a free kill bot lane. Akshan just walking all over Sky Wizard, bringing him down to the ground. And now Carlito just gonna wistfully walk away. I mean, that Yuumi and Amumu are just too slow to catch up.
Yumi's just chilling. Like, she does not want to play the typical e-girl support style, you know? She's like, I'm going to be aggressive too. Watch me Q people. I don't need to stand on you anymore.
For better or worse, Noxus are meta definers here. Phaser slaying Pookie Bear under the tower, and that Malphite is a one hit. Do you go for it? Do you go for it if you're Phaser?
It looks like they already tried going for it, and that's why they both almost got double killed, right? They tried to dive, and it did not go well for them.
Did not go well at all.
Speaking of dives.
Speaking of dying, it's Schwam being unstoppable once again. They're gonna get this tower before even grubs spawn.
Yeah.
They're beginning to spawn right now as we talk. We're only 6 minutes into this game. It's 7-7. People are just dying left and right. But it's clear at this point, there's a team in the lead, a CS difference, and that's gotta be Demacia.
Well, actually, in terms of gold, Noxus is ahead by like almost 1,000. Like, this is very interesting.
That side's Demacia.
Oh.
Left side's Demacia, yeah.
Guys, I'm
Noxus
trolling
bringing in the
today.
crazy meta change.
Guys, ignore me.
You're good, you're good.
Ramps is in the house today. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. No matter what, like Noxus, the one downside they have right now is that Akshan has all of their kills. Like all of their gold is on a single champion. It is Akshan. He's pretty good with really gold advantage, but Demacia is a little bit more spread out. They have some gold on Azir, they have some gold on Cho'Gath, they have some gold on Mordecai. So like all their big frontliners, they have the gold, right?
I mean, it's an interesting play as well, especially not having the support in the bot lane. You're free to get more XP. You're pretty much playing mid lane in the bot lane, a little bit more of a safer spot, safer from ganks, especially if you're not going to play for those objectives with your lack of a jungler. You're going to get very big very fast as long as you keep getting these kills, keep getting the double kills as well.
Yeah.
You're going to be the biggest one on the board here.
The one downside is Jinx has been killed so many times that the amount of gold that you're getting off of Jinx is significantly reduced. So if they really want to like take this pressure and put it elsewhere, they need to start moving Akshan into other lanes.
Speaking of moving into lanes, that Amumu is going under tower and going to dive for it, getting no value at all.
Shuffle.
The Shuriman shuffle with the Q slam from the Mordekaiser. Pookie Butt on a killing spree, and that I think decided the game then and there. 12-8. They're gonna need a long road to climb back from here.
100%. Like, just imagine all the gold that Azir has. Azir should not have this much gold early on. He is not an early game champion in that sense. Like, they're just really setting themselves up. And back to the replay. Watch all this happen. And
Wow.
Amumu just decides to go in. He's taking the Demacia away, learning from them. And he just kind of failed by being Noxus instead.
I mean, Moore didn't even need to do that, but that's what you gotta do to add insult to injury there.
Egoing.
Akshan trying to contest this dragon, but you have no team to do so.
No,
Everyone else
your,
is
your
scattered.
top lane jungle misfortune is MIA. I don't know what to tell you. Your smite isn't there.
First dragon goes over to Demacia, and this is why they're the reigning champs. I mean, you can see it in their gameplay. There's a clear difference in skill on display here, folks. But you get the W. This is going to be massive. Cho'Gath gets one phaser on a rampage, looking for one more with Azir. Carlito dominating the entire game with 6 kills, 0 deaths, and 3 assists.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
A disaster, though.
You know what?
It's an execution.
Maybe the allegations that he was boosting players is wrong. Maybe he's the one getting boosted. Maybe that's the answer here,
The
guys.
cheating allegations, though, are looking more and more likely. I mean, he got onto this team, and
Now
now
that his IP's been fixed,
after it's been fixed, I don't
looks
know.
a little sus, guys. Looks a little sus.
A little bit suspect, to be sure. 14-9, though.
And now we're back to some chill, relaxing gameplay. We're seeing Yuumi try to CS in the mid lane with a support item. Doesn't work very well, but, you know, it's fine. And top lane, Cho'Gath's getting his knockup. Not a whole lot to say, though, but Mordekaiser is here for the gang, and they're just not respecting it at all. What? What is happening here?
They're not even running the knockup. The two tanks taking it all down, running them all over. It's going to be one last hit. This Malphite turning back when he had the chance to run. You're wondering where the flash was. It's on cooldown, but speaking of cooldowns, you gotta be wondering, is that Shuriman shuffle on the cooldown in the mid lane?
Oh, and we're getting this nice cinematic replay.
Oh, this is of the shuffle.
Amumu dive.
The Amumu dive, the shuffle back. Absolutely amazing camera work here. I love it. Show it to me a fourth time.
A fourth time? Yeah, I really like this replay. It's really just showing the stark difference in these teams, right? Oh.
Stark
Okay,
is
we'll
the
actually
word.
get this. Oh. this is getting sad at this point.
This is getting a little bit sad but happy. If you are a Noxus fan, that's how you have to win. You have to play around this bot side.
Yeah.
That is something they're not going to be expecting to come up in this team fights, is an over-leveled Akshan that is
100%. But he does have to be part of the team fights, and that's where we're seeing the issue. Is he hasn't really participated in anything aside from just cherry picking kills on the bot side.
And just to call back to what we were talking about earlier, their entire game plan revolves around those team fights. As we said, they need to get the slam, the root, the knock-up. Everything they need has to go to plan. And if they can't execute that plan, execute that teamwork at all, what we're seeing is the result.
Yeah, this is just a skill gap, you know?
Oh, the ult to get the final pick.
And the first turret gold going over to Akshan, which is really good for him. It's going to keep pushing him forward, and it does give him the feed as well. So this just kind of helps cement the lead.
Cement, this is a concrete kill up in the top lane. Just bruisers laying into each other here. Press, I think, not expecting to take that much damage. I mean, you had a teammate as well, but luckily you have Ghost to get yourself out of there. Not taking teleport is a very interesting pick. I mean, there were some changes, so we're not aware of.
I think teleport's actually in a better state now, so
absolutely beautiful shuffle there, knocking them all the way back, guaranteeing the 2 kills, and now the Azir is breaking into the double digits with that.
yeah, this is, we thought Akshan was doing well. Azir's just saying, watch me shuffle.
Like a magician shuffling a deck of cards.
Yeah, 100%. Except the downside is he's just getting everything. Like, he ain't dropping none of these cards.
No, he knows exactly every single read, every single prediction that they throw at him. Like a magician, he knows where all the cards lie. And speaking of lying, no one knows where these two are. I think they're taking some guesses up in the top lane. Oh, maybe they're bottom, maybe they're recalling.
Maybe they're on grubs.
They are on grubs.
Oh. You know what? Akshan, after taking bottom turret, has roamed mid, so maybe we'll finally get to see the 2 Titans in Azir and Akshan fight it out. Maybe.
That is always a possibility, but huge Q.
1v3 though.
You need the grab here, you need a knock up. No, you don't. You can just keep autoing and that
Just auto to death.
Just a little bit too slow to escape.
Yeah, Amumu has tier, so it's not really like Amumu's going to have any defensive stats or any damage or anything. He's a sad boy.
And now first turret goes over to Demacia.
Second turret.
Second turret? Oh, you're absolutely correct there.
Oh. This cat gonna get... Yeah, that's what you get for playing Yuumi though. You just get chomped on.
Chomped, eaten up like a little snack that you are. And now, up here in the top lane, they're doing some consistent turret damage here, but at what cost? I mean, you're losing lives every single time you get close to it. The Mordekai's are doing absolute work, getting the pull, getting the slam. Who's going to get these last 2 kills? Are you going to let them get away? No, Pookie Butt.
Jinx of Rocket?
Gonna get the Q.
No Rocket. You know what? Like, this could all be avoided if they just dropped a single ward in the jungle, like in the river. Mordekai's are even invisible. You can fully see him on any kind of ward.
Oh, but the hook goes through. This is the one champion you don't want to mess with. Pookie Butt on the run, but now they have a huge pinch set up here. The flash towards the turret. You have nowhere to run. You're locked down. You're going to use the ultimate. Can you tank it? The Azir tanks it.
The taunting in the background.
The Q's huge. The shovel goes through, but you get the shutdown.
That is massive. That is massive for Akshan. You know, he was already 1v9ing for his team, and now he's the extra goal. And another shutdown.
This is a 1v9, level 11 Akshan versus the entire roster of Demacia. And sorry to throw Wyatt under the bus here. He said, you could be Faker, you could do whatever, but you still have to play with the team to win. And at this point, I don't know. I think he is the team. He is Faker, and he just might be able to win this.
You know what? They just imported him. I would love to see the goal difference here. I really want to see how far ahead Akshan is compared to everyone else. I can only imagine it's going to be significant.
I mean, there's 17 kills on the board and 16 are Akshan. And one of them's Yumi's.
Yeah, Yumi got a solo kill. I don't really know what happened there, but now it's coming back. She's getting bit in the butt.
Speaking of not knowing what happened there, I don't know what that bot lane was thinking. You saw that Cho'Gath running in from a mile away, but you just stuck around and found out that he's a very hungry individual. You can see Demacia locked in.
They are locked in. They're trying to pull it back. And they are. Like, they're ahead. They just have to shut down Akshan, and they're good to go. Hopefully.
Good to go. Ready to roll.
Now, Azir is alone in the top lane, 1v2, but these are the 2 players who seem to just keep dying. So, will he be able to pull off some sneaky kills as well, or he's going to wait till Mordekaiser shows up to pull off the double?
I think you have to wait. You have to play it patient. You don't want to give any undue kills over, especially
And shout out to our other sponsor, Monopoly.
Monopoly. Speaking of monopolies, there's a monopoly on the board right now, and it's just all looking up Demacia. They own almost every single property, every single lane. They're looking to get every single objective.
And Misfortune cancels her ult. Little, Azir takes advantage. Just instantly kills her. Doesn't have to use a shuffle.
You have to use a shuffle. You don't even have to use a single ability there on Jinx. No mana, just all autos there. Not even the enhanced autos.
She isn't an auto-based champion, right? She's pulling it back. She's went from 0 and 11 to 2 and 11, so she's truly taking that late scaling 80 ult.
And I didn't even take this into consideration. They're going to get instant revives with Schwam being the carry, just going around hunting them down one by one.
Hunt them down.
Phaser.
Says, Cho'Gath, you're too big. Too big for me.
Too big, but I think you still need a run if you're Phaser. You can't take that 1v1.
Oh, Azir does his thing. This is really just the Azir and Akshan Shurima gameplay. Sadly, Shurima did not participate in this tournament, but if they did, maybe they would be in the finals.
Yeah, they did import some champions. There are quite a few. I think the entire roster is imports here. Speaking of importing, you are going to export him back to the fountain with that kill.
The thing is, Akshan always seems to get the advantage of everyone in a 1v1. He's just never there for any of the team fights. So, is this going to be a team fight game, or just maybe that he can sneak away of getting all these solo kills?
I have a feeling this game is going to be ended very, very soon. Sure, you can play well. Sure, you can have the Akshan carry, but if you're not getting any of these jungle objectives, you're not going to have a single chance.
I mean, that's what happens when you go Misfortune top with Smite as your jungle. It just doesn't work. There's a reason why we don't see it played in any of the other competitive games.
Exactly. The turret is going to fall on the side of Demacia. Will their Empire starting to crumble? A big knock-up. Amumu getting caught off guard here. Phaser, just look how big he's already getting without any items here. Not really Evan, though, getting one kill, saying, I'm the better support here, Yuumi. I take skill to play.
Yeah, you know what? Really getting payoff for not taking that support item in the end of the day. So that one kill just makes it all worth it.
And that Shuriman warrior, the Shuriman king himself, just doing absolute work up there in the top lane. Not even having to get close to push away that Malphite.
No, he is 2 full items now, working towards his 3rd. Like, Azir is going to be hitting hard as soon as he's allowed to hit the enemy. So, as long as Akshan's not there to snipe him out really quick, I think Azir can win any team fight.
I'd have to agree with you there, but you also have to watch out for this Cho'Gath, the second carry on the team.
Yes.
10 kills, 0 deaths.
Yeah, I don't think he's back in a long time. He's still just sitting on 1 full item, but I can only imagine the amount of pull he has and how many items he's going to have when he does reset, right? Like, this Cho'Gath is going to be huge, and that is one big issue for Akshan. He wants to just instantly one-pop one.
I think, honestly, it might have been a smart decision to put Akshan on the bot lane away from everybody else. But speaking of teams,
they're just changing everything up. They're saying, we're just going to run you down mid and pray for the best. They know they're in the stronger point right now. They know they have more gold. They know they have the better team fight. They're just sneaking the kills out now.
Not to pat myself on the back, but this is the game plan I was talking about earlier. Playing for that mid-game push, getting the peak, the apex here around level 10, 11, 13. They're going to take down the first mid tower. They're taking down
everything.
The next.
Using the Azir passive, like he's really good at taking turrets. Using the Jinx passive, she's getting very excited taking down each of these turrets, like just instantly wiping the board.
The demolition team is here, and they're ready to rig the explosives. Amumu throwing himself on the fire, saying, no, I love this place. I'm chaining myself to this tree. Don't bulldoze it down.
And
but they're not listening. There's no laws here in Noxus. The only rule is the rule of power. If you're strong enough to take them down, you're strong enough to rule. The Shuriman shovel pushes it back. Schwam, in a last-ditch effort, swinging in, trying to save everyone. And he just very well might. The quadro kill. Can he get the pentakill? There is the static Shiv chasing him down. The Q for the pentakill is going to give Schwam, Akshan, and the team one last dying chance.
100%. That is what you run the risk of when you do decide just to push mid and say you're the better team. At the end of the day, Akshan's saying, you might be the better team, but I'm the better player.
Exactly. Schwam. Some say he's the next Faker in the making here. They need someone to take up that mantle. Faker getting real old now. What is he, like 42 at this point?
Guys, I'm sure he's younger than this. Please hush. You know what? That is the downside, though. Everyone else died on map, so Akshan doesn't actually... They can't take anything, right? Like, there's no objective. There's nothing that they can do.
There's Otacon, though.
Otacon's coming, but everyone's respawned.
Everyone's respawned, and if Schwam falls here, I think that's it. Carlito being the hero for the team, slaying the Demon
Slaying the
Lord,
Titan.
using
Oh.
using Zhonya's just a flex at that point.
Okay, you know what? And now we're gonna be able to watch this penta kill in action. We do see Akshan with the good flash to get away from Mordekaiser. I think
That
he does
cute.
Yeah, pretty good. Mordekaiser still trying to zone him out. Malphite is keeping them busy with his tankiness, so he keeps Akshan alive a little bit longer, and he's able to just run everyone down now. Akshan's very mobile as a champion, especially when there's no damage, right?
Yeah. And this is where everyone was sweating bullets here.
Yeah.
Cho'Gath just inches away from dodging that. You gotta zigzag a little bit more, I think.
You gotta zig when you zagged, you know?
Going straight away against Akshan. You're not gonna be able to beat that. And now
No.
we have a bit of a base race going on.
This is very interesting. After Akshan died, I thought the game was gonna end. They have a bit of free time, but they decided to play it safe, and now they're just throwing themselves at Mossy on the bot side, which isn't good when your only damage source is not there.
I mean, they're just there to keep busy work, keep them away from the objectives. But at
Yeah.
this point, sure, they got wiped off the map, but now 41 to 25. This is as good as done, especially if they get this autocon.
100%. Like, Demacia is showing Noxus what it feels like to get invaded and completely decimated. And not even contested. Free autocon.
You're gonna try and get some turrets, try and get some value while they're all occupied there. But
Yep.
honestly, you could just push them up bot lane and probably beat them before they even get into your base.
100%. But you know, everyone is respawning, or they have respawned now, so it's another dragon gone over. Maybe they try to do Rift.
Are they not gonna redeem all those flowers?
You know what? They said that's too Noxus coded. We don't want the roses.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go their way at all. I mean, Noxus just absolutely struggling to do anything on this map.
Yeah, it's rough. Like we said, Akshan has all of the gold, so if Akshan's not there, nothing's gonna happen. The Yuumi just really should just be sticking on top of Akshan, but for whatever reason, Yuumi wants to play on their own.
I mean, you gotta have some fun here, nevertheless.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And we're back to us, I suppose.
I mean, truly the MVPs of the game.
Truly, truly.
I'm back on the desk.
You're back on the desk.
Missed me too much,
I
but
did, I
that's
did.
all we have in store
Oh.
for you guys today. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry we were running a bit short for time, but that is all we've got. We saw a lot of great gameplay though. We saw Schwam absolutely lighting it up, and Phaser was able to come back a little bit, but the one that kind of hit me on the heart most was Imumu. Just kind of got a little ganged up on in the
Little
middle of the
struggle.
round, a little bit of late round. But any final words before we close it off tonight?
Demacia wins again, that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, no one actually won, so do we get the steak?
Oh, you're right, we can maybe make that soup a little later.
Maybe we just run out, take it before anyone else does.
Let's see
I'm
if we
thinking the
can make
three of
that.
us will just take those $5,000 steaks. We'll go have our own little cookout. For ladies and gentlemen at home, we'll invite you over. Address will be in the Discord, wherever we put that. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a great day at the Bigger Cup here. We will see you off. I have been Wyatt with Matthias and Zach on your casting desk. Hope you have a great day, Saints Nation, and we will see you later.